Well, hello.
Hey, everybody.
Good evening.
All right, so y'all ready to jump into this?
Oh, we ready, baby.
All right.
Yes,
So, of
tonight.
course, everybody, welcome back to your second episode of The Chat. We are your hosts, Prince Michael.
Regina Platt.
Ebony Saunders.
And TC, since he want to be incog, so we gonna introduce TC for him, okay? Anyways, so before we even jump into the conversation, everybody, we're just gonna go ahead and throw out the disclaimer again, as we do at the beginning of each episode. The chat is that place that you can come together and have a collective conversation, have your perspective heard, have your voice heard without actually feeling targeted, disrespected, and or discouraged to do so. Here at the chat, what we do is we want to be able to gain as many perspectives as possible. There's a book that was written by Sean Acor called Before Happiness. In the book, Sean says that in order to be the most successful, you have to gain the most perspectives. I am paraphrasing, of course. However, that's what we're here to do. Gain as many perspectives as we can, because by doing so, we become that much more successful. So I'm going to let Regina go ahead and kick us off today.
Oh, well, the first kickoff, let me go and swing this your way. This is our first kickoff, swinging your way. We're talking about Justice Jackson on today as we come in with his first piece.
Yes.
I don't know, like deep breaths right now. Deep breaths right now. Because when I sing the queen, gain access to her throne, I was just taken back on when we think about it. Let's just think about this. It has taken 232 years to put the essence of enrichedness and to be a part of greatness. Come on. It was 115 prior appointments. 115 prior appointments right here, right? And so that just landed on me for a Black woman to be selected to serve. Come on, just breathe on that. For a Black woman to be selected to serve, we have been selected to be midwives. We have been selected to be housekeepers. We have been selected to help people organize and run their businesses. We have been selected to be heads of household. But it took 232 years for us to be selected to the highest court of the land. Baby, every bone, everything in me. Hey, now I was in there like, hey, what it do, y'all?
Right.
Do y'all, if she can do it, so can you. Now, I love the part too. She ain't anybody. This woman is skilled at everything about her truth. And she ain't never tried to operate in nobody else's lane. She just did it in her own way. So I'm just telling you, I was like, oh my goodness. I am yes. I love it.
So you know what's so interesting though? I like, and let me caution this, because I don't need Black Twitter to try and drag me by my hair, okay? I don't need them trying to drag me across the asphalt. I am very grateful because, of course, as everyone does know, our very first African-American that we had as a justice was Thurgood Marshall. And I am very grateful because looking at this woman, I'm just like, wow. Now, when my niece actually turns on the TV or when she does a school project, representation matters, and she can actually see someone that looks like her. Because prior to, there were women, but there just wasn't someone that looked like her. There wasn't someone that had dark skin, kinky hair. There wasn't that person. So I am very grateful that now we have that representation. One of the things that I wanted to push to is I've noticed that a lot of people made the comment that, wow, look at how far we've come. And I, mm, I will say that I was triggered by that comment because it's very interesting that in the US, you get someone that's Black in an office, or you get someone that's Black in anything, and let it be the first. That is the very first thing that someone says, because it's almost as if racism just disappears. It's almost as if you're supposed to forget about everything else that's happened. When in actuality, sometimes you have someone that's elected or that is appointed for a specific reason, for a specific, what is the word that I'm looking for? A specific mission to get accomplished. And in order to do so, they need someone to look like you in order to do it. The reason I say that is because I have a really good girlfriend of mine who works in HR, and she works at the top of HR, not a person who is just a lackey or anything. Anytime that she goes in and she works for HR, she works at the top of HR. And when they need to get someone out, they hire her. What's interesting is that they refuse to get rid of the person if it's going to be a white on Black thing. But if it's going to be Black on Black, they don't mind, which is the reason that they'll call her. They call her, she gets them out, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, I've done my job. That way that it doesn't look as though that there's any type of discrimination that goes on. My problem is that although I am very excited to see that this woman is in this office now, this woman is now our very first Black justice, I don't want people to take away or to even think that we've come far. For it to take this long to have a Black woman in the United States as a justice means that that's just how far we have to go. Because we should not still be saying that, oh, this is the first Black anything. This is 2022. Why in the world are we still saying that this is the first Black of anything if we actually have come that far? If we actually had come that far, Kamala Harris would not have been demonized the way that she did. If we actually had come that far, the questions that Justice Mrs. Jackson was that they said to her, she would not have been, that she would have not have gotten. So I don't want people to just, to shy away from that, because there are things that still need to be worked on. And looking at her being confirmed, it just confirmed just that. We've come a long way, but we have so much further to go.
So what I get after listening to the both of you is people can choose to look at the glass half empty or half full. But I totally appreciate and hear both of those perspectives, because I see where Regina's coming from. But it's funny that you would say that, because I just had this conversation with someone at work today, and I was like, why in 2022 are we still having to celebrate these types of milestones? So I am so glad both of you touched on both sides of that fence. For me, when somebody accomplishes something, particularly of this magnitude, I always try to peer into their personal journey. And what this celebration is for me, when I look at her, I see an example of, baby girl, what God has for you, it is for you. All of the stepping stones, all of the roadblocks, and like Regina was saying, she was on her personal journey. She stayed in her personal lane. And, at the end of the day, if something is meant for you, nobody can touch that. Nobody can take that away from you. That's what she was for me. When I look at her, I'm just thinking, sister, you better go. You better do it. I mean, and like you said, Prince, the ridiculous questions and,
oh my God.
And I mean, I remember I can't remember the senator's name, but I remember watching TV and she was asking her to give her a definition of what a woman is. And all I could think to myself was, what does that have to do?
But so have you guys? I'm sorry to interject, but did you guys ever go back and look at when a male was actually confirmed?
I don't remember all of that. I can tell you that it was just the ridiculousness of what she was being asked.
Mm-hmm. You would not see. The reason that I ask is because before, up until a few years ago, you all know it was all white men. There were no women of any kind.
Right.
But they didn't ask them the same type of questions at all. What I thought was even more interesting is you had people that there was one particular senator that said it. I don't recall who it was, but he said he was like, your resume is impressive, academically and professionally. You're a great person, but I'm gonna have to vote no. So what merit are you going to vote a no on?
So is this strictly a race issue? You've accomplished so much. You have done great things. You are extremely poised. You are a great speaker. But I'll pass.
I think
the only thing you haven't mentioned is race. So can we put that on the table? Is that the problem?
I think she's a really nice person. That one got me. I think she's a really nice person.
Right.
I'm voting no. I was like, TC, you better go, baby, because if you don't go, I'm gonna jump in. So I'm gonna need you to talk to me
because I'm about to run off.
I mean, this is a hard subject for me because I'm not connected to our governing bodies, or I don't quite understand the weight of it. So I just kind of I have to observe. One thing I do agree with Prince. I agree with one thing Prince said, which is that we shouldn't really be celebrating. This is the first Black whatever. And maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I don't think that race should be emphasized. I think it should be just hey, this is awesome, congrats to whoever it is. But signifying that they're Black, I feel like that takes away from the person being qualified for that role and position. So I mean, I don't know. That's all I can really say. Unfortunately, this isn't really a subject matter that I am versed in, so I can only really listen.
So
fair enough.
I'm a piggyback off of what you just said. The importance and the value of mentioning that it is Black is because within this nation there has been a whitewashing that has removed diverse cultures from being able to step in and stand courageously in positions. And you have to understand that the minority is our Caucasian population. It's not to belittle or to take away from them, but they are the minority. And so being the minority, the majority, oh my God, being the majority.
We knew what you meant.
It presses them out, right? It presses them out, and you can isolate, and we operate in a institutional and structural system that was created by European white males. And so in most of those head positions of leadership, it is not people of diverse backgrounds in there unless they have simulated to fit in to what those that are in power believe is the righteous way to do it. And so when I look at the television and I see this melanated, this chocolate female, because the light-skinned female was being able to get into some places, but this chocolate female who stands before us with sister locks. Let's give her other thing, because people voting locks, setting up laws to tell people how they could do their hair. And so you have a chocolate sister, right? She just brilliantly gorgeous in the complexion. And then she's standing there with locks on. Two things that have been stricken down. And then on top of that, because when we talk about intersectionality, right? So we already that just the hairstyle, the complexion of her skin, that she's female. We didn't drag that part in there. That's another intersectional piece that divides and attacks her. And it's like, we're in a place right now, and no, it didn't come easy. It did not come easy. We watched as I told y'all the other day, I wanted to put on my all black and walk in there. And I don't know what I was going to do. You know what I'm saying? I was like, they let them get away with doing it at the White House. But that's not who I am. But let's be real. She was literally going under attack to the point where, as I was watching them, it was like they were interrogating her to the point
she was being berated.
There was tears coming up under her eyes. The chocolate of her complexion did not cover the redness of the shame and confusion and isolate and anger of being attacked in that manner. You've done all the work. You go into a place that you're supposed to be accepted because you've worked and went above and beyond. Your children are seeing you go through this. And you sit in that place and you get demeaned. I love a quote that Dr. Maya Angelou said, and Jackson said it as they were speaking to her. Jackson said, Maya Angelou said, "I am the dream and the hope of the slaves. I am the dream and the hope of the slaves." When you think about that, for her to walk in there in this nation, her ancestors were enslaved and trapped, human trafficked in this nation. But now she will set foot in a place with a label on her that proclaims that she is the change that we need to see.
The highest of the high.
Come on. So when I think about that, and then I watched the power in her as she stood and she spoke, because it was like, sometimes we get bottled up in the circumstance and situation, and we want to give up and tap out because our emotions is getting the best of us. She was posed during that time. And when she got up and they gave it to her, she earned it. She spoke with a bosshood, like, this is what we do. All of us is going. She even said it in her speech. All of us. This is all of us going forth. And so for me to see that as a Black woman, I would never subtract my Blackness from who I am, because this is the essence that was given to me. Whether I was brown, Black, my heritage, my culture goes with me when I go. And so when I heard that and I seen that, I was like, bro, because Ted, I was like, boy, you get what I'm saying?
Okay,
now,
Mr. Cruz.
Move on. This week, with the YWCA Stand Against Racism, Charles, it's critical race theory. She got attacked. About critical race theory. While she was going through her part, they were attacking her, and she was posed, tears welling up in her eyes. But she answered those questions like, this right here is my exodus, baby. This is my
And to jump in, Regina, this is exactly what I was talking about. A part of that is because of the fact that, it's because she's Black. Let's just face it. Let's just call a spade a spade. That's what grandma say, call a spade a spade. But another part of that is because she's a woman. And if you go back to when Hillary Clinton was actually, Mrs. Hillary Clinton was actually running for president, you'll notice that a lot of men were against her, because this country still has a stigma against a woman running for anything, because they still believe that a woman is only good for two things: in the bed and in the kitchen. That's it. She's supposed to be domestic. And you can see that that is one of the reasons why these people were attacking her the way that they were. It's furthermore one of the reasons why, I don't know if you guys remember with the conversation that we were having about local and presidential elections, making sure that you vote in both, because they're equally as important. And the reason that you have these people that have been in office for so long is because this is a career for them. This is their career. But in order for you to be able to evoke the change that you want, you have to step out and do something different by voting and getting these people out. What most people fail to realize is that these people, this is their career, but we are basically their employer. We have the opportunity to change them out if we do not like them. It's almost like having a car. If you have a car and the wheels and the lug nuts do not work, or the wheels and the lug nuts are missing from the vehicle, then the car can't move. That is basically what the president is. The president is the car. Then you have Congress that is the wheels and the lug nuts. But it's up to us to get the car and put the wheels and the lug nuts together. Because what happens is if they do not work together, the car cannot move. If the car cannot move, then we stay stuck with where we are. That is one of the biggest issues that we have in the United States, because everyone wants to blame the president for everything. They blame President Trump for the things that we were going through. Granted, he did a whole lot of horrible stuff. He stirred up a whole lot of stuff. But what can we expect? He had no political experience. Let's just call a spade a spade. He had no political experience. He's a businessman. Granted, yes, that's true. However, most of his businesses did fail. But now you have President Biden that's in. President Biden, it doesn't seem like he's any better. Let's just call a spade a spade. He promised all this stuff and I still ain't seen nothing. Okay. So then now fast forward, you also have to remember that the other part of that is Congress. If you don't have the Congress that you need in order to help them to push and pass the bills and stuff, you're going to stay stuck. I think that one of the things that we have to start to educate our people on is making sure that they vote, because we still have a large population of people that believe that their vote does not count. And if you are continuously going to believe that, then we're going to continue to keep seeing the things that we saw on stage when Justice Jackson was on there and being berated in front of millions of people on live national television as she's being sworn at. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, because child, I'm trying to keep my composure. So yeah. Well, y'all want to go to the next topic, or y'all want to stay on this one?
I'm good with the next.
Let's go on and move on, because
baby,
once we wrap around this is a celebration for us all, but we still got a lot of steps to take. And some of those steps that we got to take, Ebony, can you loose us on this one? Bring us into this next topic.
So what caused our conversation about this next topic was I had shared a moment. Y'all, my job is insane. I could explain my office to y'all, and I don't even tell folks because folks wouldn't believe me. My office is crazy. But, anywho, but I will claim that. So I was witnessing a conversation between two co-workers the other day. And this one lady was writing her name on the calendar, writing her vacation time down. And I noticed the other employee walk up and she said, "Oh, are you taking some time off?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go on a girls trip. We're going to kick it. This is where I'm going. We're going to do Cancun." And I noticed that the other coworker was like really taken back by that. And she was like, "Well, the office we already short staffed. So like somebody's going to have to fill in while you're gone." And it really just got me. And I was like, wait a minute. How has society, because my office is just a smidget of a reflection of what society is, how we view each other and other people. How did we get to the point where taking a mental health day or taking a vacation or taking a weekend, extended weekend, how do we get to the point where we're starting to shun people for that? And so in our conversation before this topic is self-care. And in our conversation before this, we were discussing with one another, not only what do we do when we decide to exhibit self-care on ourselves, but do you work to live or do you live to work? And I have employees in my office that actually feel bad about taking a vacation or taking time away from work. Have employers brainwashed folks so bad that now folks are not willing to take time off of their job? Like, I'm confused, baby. I am all about every 3 months I'm out of Dodge, or every other week I'm doing something. And those of us that are parents that have children that we're still raising, it's easy kind of for us to get a break, even though it's still work when we driving to from here and there everywhere. It's kind of easy for us to try to unwind because we have stuff that they're doing. But at what point does society get to where it's not okay to take time off and take care of you. And so, I just walked up to my coworker. I said, why are you shaming her for taking vacation? Especially at the very company that's providing it to her. My time is my time, and you better believe I'm going to take it every chance I get. But that's where this came from, was the self-care topic. And I'm very curious for our viewers that are watching and listening. Do you make it a point? I will ask you guys. Do you guys make it a point to try to take a break, and how often would you do that? Because I actually pop in the chat, and I just want to say, if y'all haven't, pop in that chat. Our viewers are on fire tonight. The comments that I'm looking at, they are on fire tonight. But yes, what do y'all do? What do y'all do? Do you take regular vacations? Do you just take time away? Do you go do something by yourself? Because it's important. It's super important to do so. You cannot burn out. Companies want you to, but you cannot burn out.
So, Ebony,
come on, Prince, because I know you.
I was going to ask you before we move to Prince. Ebony, answer that. What are some things that you do, right, when it comes to taking that piece? Because we talked about this question that we're on is like, are you living to work or working to live? Like, so what is your strategy when it comes to working to live instead of living to work? Right? What strategy you lay out?
A little bit about my background. I worked for the government for 10 years. Okay. And so at that time, I was definitely living to work. Part of it was being young and feeling like I had to prove myself to someone or for something. So when you're young, you just kind of feel like, okay, I got to make it. I got to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to be. Baby, as you get older, you realize none of that even matters anymore. So I basically devoted 10 years of my life, and I was worn out. But I was also one of those people that thought that if I made a change, the grass wouldn't be greener on the other side, because I was comfortable in the mess. You can get comfortable in a mess, and it was a mess. So I got comfortable with my employer. It was toxic, but because I was comfortable and that's what I knew, it wasn't a big deal until I left. And the day I left, a bunch of weight was lifted off my shoulders, and then I realized, you know what? Life is short. I've been through several things in life that has taught me tomorrow is not promised. And when I woke up and realized that, I thought, you got to stop living to work and you got to start working to live. So what I do, Prince and I have something in common. My mother retired from the airline, so I fly for free. And when I tell you I use fly for free, I am in and out all the time. I know that I'm blessed to have been able to see things most people won't see in their lifetime or won't get to in their lifetime. But when I take a break, and this is funny because for Mother's Day, I'm always asked, what do you want for Mother's Day? What do you want to do? I think I'm the only mother on the planet who doesn't want to be anywhere near her children on Mother's Day. Most moms are like, hey, let's get dressed up. Let's take pictures. I love y'all to death, but I have you every day. I just want one day where I don't have to worry about y'all. You're in good hands. And, regardless if it's, some women will say, I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm going to go get a pedicure. I'm going to go get my hair done. That doesn't matter to me. I really just get by myself. I get in that safe space. I get by myself. A lot of times it involves music. I'm a music buff. But I just get by myself, and I'm really good at meditation. I've learned that through the years. And it's basically just becoming one with wherever I'm at. And I love the outdoors. So I usually take a trip to the mountains. The mountains just do it for me. If I had a choice between beach and ocean or mountains, you can stick me in a cabin up in the mountains with some snow and a jacuzzi all day long. So self-care for me is just being able to reflect on where I came from, what I'm doing, and where I want to go by myself. I don't need anybody to self-care doesn't have to include a group of folks. You don't have to be on a girls trip. You don't have to be, with 10 other people on a cruise. I just like to just get by myself. That's it.
I'm curious to know what TC got to say. TC, let me. What is self-care to you?
Well, self-care to me really is taking time to really allow your inner child to have fun, right? I know that when I was going through my coaching courses, I had denied myself the right to enjoyment on a very basic level. So for instance, given my ambitious angst, I'd given up video games, right? Something really simple, right? And that was something that my life coach was like, find a video game to play, right? Well, given my living situation, I don't really have the room to set up my TV. So I found a online game that I can play on my phone, and it provided an opportunity to kind of go back into that headspace of just mentally relaxing, right? Because I'm always on. Even as I speak to you guys now, I'm always on. I'm on my way to a client. So self-care is really kind of the acknowledgement of you are worth it, manifested into a date night with oneself. This is, and let me put this out there as a guy. Self-care tactics I've picked up from women. I think they have amazing tactics and philosophy when it comes to self-care. And I think that guys can learn a lot from it. So for instance, when I go to LA, I was going about once a month, and I didn't go for self-care by any means. I went to decompress from Kansas City, which goes back to the original topic that Miss Ebony was referencing, which is like taking vacation time or whatever. I'd go and get my feet done, right? I'd go and sit there in a little massage chair. Well, it's not little; it was a huge massage chair. And they put your feet and legs in the water. They put the blue sand on you, and they scrub the heck out of your feet, get rid of the dead skin and everything. And it's amazing. It's a foot massage, and then they do your hand massage, or going to a reflexology. So, it's investing in oneself, pampering style, because obviously you can invest in yourself with books or whatever, but it's pampering yourself, or what I do now, I get back facials, right? Because being in a suit all day, your back sweats and stuff. And so I get back facials. And that's, to me, that's self-care, right? And at the same time, like I said, realizing that, hey, you're worth it, I guess, dating yourself first before going on dates with other people, if that makes any sense at all.
I like that. I like that.
I love how you slid in there. That's why I started laughing. That sounded like you was flirting at first with whoever that woman was. But I'm not one to gossip. Okay, I'm not here to stir the pot. But I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna jump in. So let me tell y'all something. Come hell or high water, okay? I take a week off work every month. No, ma'am. Because yes, by day, I work as a flight attendant, a stewardess, whatever you want to call it. A professional airline babysitter is what I like to call it. I am a professional adult babysitter, and we are in a metal tube, and I get you from point A to point B. And let me tell you, yes, I have to, because it will literally make you just... Being a flight attendant, okay, I'm not going to say the airline, especially with what I'm about to say next, but being a flight attendant will literally make you question your whole life. I swear to God. Because I can say, and ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 lavatories located on board today's flight. We have 1 in the front and 2 in the back. Please note that if at any time, if the light is illuminated above row 1, that means that the lavatory is occupied. We ask that you remain seated until the lavatory is vacant. You have someone that comes right up. Is there a bathroom up here?
What did I just say?
I swear, you literally have people. I'm just like, did you not just hear me? Oh yeah, I heard the announcement. I'm like, and it didn't click, did it? It didn't, and you see that a lot. And I'm not one that likes to repeat themselves. And to kids, it's okay, but to adults, it's like, oh my God. But anyway, self-care to me looks like me making sure that I take care of my mental health. I was actually looking through the comments just now because I figured out how to do that, because last week I didn't know how to do that, y'all. So I couldn't see Jay going off last week, okay? But I could see Jay this week, okay? But anyway, because I was going to call him out and ask him what does self-care look like to him, but he already done responded, so I can't call him out. But anyway, self-care to me is making sure that I take care of my mental health. Me taking care of my mental health, I do see a therapist I started seeing a therapist last April when I was sexually assaulted. And then I had to, when my brother went to sleep and didn't wake up on September 3rd, I ended up going back and I started seeing a therapist again. And that was because I just felt as though for my mental health, I needed to have that. Because there's different levels of trauma. There are different levels of making sure that you heal your mental space. And sometimes you don't understand the things that you are going through, the mood swings. Sometimes you don't even understand that there are things on a deeper level that you may not even be able to pick up on. And you need that professional guidance to be able to maneuver you through those things to help guide you because you won't know. But let me just tie into this real quick. Most people don't pay attention to self-care. I just started seeing last year actually that people started talking about boundaries, which is a form of self-care. Okay. And I started seeing people talk about self-care. I also started seeing, especially in the Black community, talking about therapy. Therapy in the Black community is like, what's wrong with you? My dad, I was down in Miami recently, and that was one of the things that my dad said, baby, when I tell you I let off on him, baby. And he was like, oh, whoa, kid, no, let me stop you. Because there is no, oh, what's wrong with you? There's a better way that you can say that. This is the reason why some people, if they don't have thick skin, will shy away from getting the help that they need because they feel as though that, oh, something is wrong or they're crazy. I'm not crazy and nothing wrong, but I just need to make sure that I can keep that mental headspace of being in the positive, being in the green. Because when my brother went to sleep, I didn't want to do anything. I was just like, I'm gonna just lay here and wait until he come back and get me. So I had to realize that life goes on. But one of the reasons that I can definitely say that people do not really take self-care as important as important as they should is because when you have these new age, and I say this for a reason, when you have these new age motivational speakers that are saying, and I quote, if you want to, and do not say the person's name. If you know who it is, please do not put the name in the comments. Jay, they say that if you want to be successful, then you have to want to be successful more than you want to sleep, more than you want to breathe, end quote. I think what's interesting about that is because we don't think that our bodies have to rejuvenate. Our bodies have to rejuvenate. Sleeping is the way that our bodies rejuvenate and be able to get that next jolt of energy for the next day. I took a nap before I got on here. That's why I look like this. On top of that, you have to have a proper balance in your life. You can't be going every single day, every single hour of the day. You have to have a balance. You have to be able to take care of you. Sometimes taking care of you, like I turn my phone to mute, silent. When I get ready to go to sleep, there is no interrupting me. If you have not contacted me before I've gone to sleep, that is my form of self-care. I turn my phone to mute. If you have not reached out to me, that means, honey, it ain't that important. So somebody could have died. The dog could have caught on fire. I do not care because I do not play about my sleep because that is the way that I can stay and look like I'm still 25 without, Dr. Haynes actually, hooking his face up. But I make sure that I take care of myself because you have to, because if you don't take care of you, nobody else is going to take care of you. And you show people how to respect you by the way that you take care of you.
I love that.
Regina, what you got?
I love that. So I was going to say this because, I tie my Christian foundations into most of what I do. And there was a Sabbath in the word. There was a Sabbath in the word, a day of rest. That's a day of rest. And people worked, right? We released our potential through work. We're able to know what's within us, what we're capable of because we work at it. But it's not that we worked at a system for somebody else. I believe, like, when I read the word, I seen so many entrepreneurs, like in today's societies, I seen people working in their field, not trying to work in somebody else's field. So Ebony, I track with you because I worked in corrections since I was 25 years old. I had some format of work, of background, working with people of interchangeable abilities and disabilities. And I spoke life into them, right? Substance into them. I was there, and the field calls for overtime. You know, you may be working 16-hour shifts 3 to 4 times in a week because you get held over because they're short staff, or you're supposed to put on and put on this performance like people are products instead of people are human beings, right? And so for me, I'm gonna say about 2007, there was a shift that began to happen in me. It took a minute for me to break it because I had said these words after my marriage ended. I said, I don't need his help. I'll work myself to death taking care of these kids before I ask for his help, right? So we have to look, because the power of life or death is in the tongue, right? And so those words that you speak over yourself and how you see yourself, that expectancy, you speak out and then you find yourself stuck. So I went through for a couple years and I found myself stuck, right? Stuck in a place where I felt like I was losing. And it wasn't that I was losing because of something that somebody else did. I was losing because of the words I had spoken over myself. I was losing because I was chasing after money when currency is meant to chase after you. I was chasing after money when currency is meant to chase after you. And so what happened was, and again, I had people around me that were surrounding me that didn't understand what self-care looked like, that didn't understand what living a meaningful life look like. So they wanted you to live like they live, and they wanted you to stay on that cycle and chasing. So there was some things that had to shift for me. I got a therapist. In 2020, I lost not only my brother, but I lost somebody that I thought I was gonna marry. Right? I hadn't even thought about. I have this thing, like, I could see the finest guy in the world, but I see him, but I don't see him. So it takes a lot to get into me, and I recognize that. So yeah, I went to therapy. I went to therapy not only because I need to understand my mind, right? It's the perspective that shifts you into action, and you do these things that limit you, and you don't know why you limited. You don't know why you blaming systems. In reality, you need to be blaming yourself. And so instead of saying why me, we should be saying how can I be? But a lot of times we're saying why me, why this happened. So my self-care really laid down where I started back writing. My self-care laid down when I stepped into the therapy again. My self-care laid down when I left out of the field of corrections, because that was not what I was called to. That was what what people knew I could do. So people want you to be in a place that fits their system. And so I left out of that system, and I took a job for 10 months, a grant offer position. And that just pushing me. The thing is, sometimes we get comfortable being comfortable, but it's time we get being uncomfortable, because the best of you is going to come out of you stepping into your season of being uncomfortable, right? And sometimes uncomfortable is understanding what the word rest means. Rest does not mean that I just lay on my fat butt and sit on the couch and watch movies all day. Rest means that I be intentional with my time.
Yes.
And so that was the shift, because have you ever been sick? You didn't do nothing all day, but you more tired than ever before the next day. Because
you're not fat.
I said my fat butt. I didn't say my fat gut. It is.
I
said that butt. But
okay, well,
come on, Nicki Minaj.
Lord, you have to be intentional with that time. So whether it is, like Jay said, being that father, and I know where Jay come from, right? And so being a father and spending time wrapping your arms around your children and your wife and just being there. authentically, right? The other factor is when we talk about self-care, for me, that self-care piece was be authentic. Some of us are operating as being carbon copies of other people, and you're hurting. You're hurting. It's causing devastation. It's causing people to commit suicide. It's causing people to become addicted to drugs and alcohol. It's causing people to become complacent. And so it was a big shift, right? Like, no, my voice don't sound like theirs. I got a boss voice, right? I'm not a speaker like other people are a speaker. So when Regina do it, if I do it the way I do it, I'm at rest in it. If I do it the way I do it, I'm at rest in it. But when I do it like others do it, there's no comfort there. Vacation for you all may be one thing. Vacation for me, I have a nephew with autism. Vacation for me is just going and sit in his presence and let him love on me and tell me to tickle him and rub his back and let's go to Incredible Pizza, and him just saying there with a smile on his face saying, I'm happy, happy, happy. And he says it like over and over, him sneaking to try to get into bed with me. Like, that's vacation for me, right? Because that's like love that's just flooding around me. And so I like traveling. I like meeting new people. But, when I meet new people,
So, I want to draw you guys' attention because I was looking through the chat. Because I told y'all I know how to do that now. I know how to do that now. Okay. There was one comment that I wanted to point out. It's by Charles Mahoney. I think it's Mahone. He says, if I strive to be successful, I must, and must being in all capital letters, sleep. And then Isabel, Love Camacho Black. She made a comment. Oh, Camacho, that was actually a guy that I went to school with. That was his last name.
Oh, okay.
Ebony, reel it in. So Isabel says, we manifest what we declare. But then I saw that Jay posted something down here. He said, Denzel Washington said, Denzel Washington said it best when he was talking to Will Smith after the slap. That's a whole nother case. And he says, quote, when you're at your peak, the devil comes for you. But when you're doing wrong, he's going to leave you alone. Child, let me tell you something. If you ever want to be successful, there is nothing wrong with grinding. There is nothing wrong with hustling for yours, because God only knows that even with what we're doing now to build out this platform for this podcast, it is a hustle. We have full-time jobs. We have businesses that we're running, and it's hard. Being successful is hard. If it were easy, everyone would be where they want to be. But the thing is it's difficult, and you have to create that balance for yourself, because otherwise you're not going to be able to have that. The success that you're looking for, many times we look at social media and we see everybody's success because we always see the pretty part of everything. We always see the house that is built. We never see the house as it is, getting the foundation being laid, the windows being installed. We don't see that part. We just look on Instagram and we're like, wow, look at that house. It's so beautiful. But you have no idea that same house could have took 10 years to build. You have no idea what it took for someone to get to where they are. I always say that I had to go through hell with gasoline draws on in order for me to acquire the things that I have right now, because a few short years ago, a person could not have been able to tell me that I would be where I am right now, owning my own home, driving my own luxury vehicle, having my own businesses that are profitable. Okay, because anybody can have a business, y'all. Just remember that it ain't nothing but a piece of paper that you file with the state, you pay some money, and boom, you got a business. Okay, anybody can set up a business, but to be profitable is something completely different. To be able to fly out and go and speak at different conferences and get on different podcast interviews and things like that, where people are actually reaching out to you, is another story. I had a guy that hit me up on Instagram. My first Instagram was hacked, and I went ahead and I created another one. I wasn't going to, but I created another one. And this guy ends up following me. I followed him back. One day he messages me. I honestly, anytime that someone followed me, I always just follow them back. I never really at that time interacted with any of the followers unless I personally knew them. And one day he hit me up and he said, "Oh, I love your profile." I said, "Oh God, here come another bot. He probably another scammer." So fast forward, he says, "Yeah, I was following your other profile, but I noticed that they inboxed me and they were talking, but it just didn't seem like the person that was always posting the positive things. And you never talked about money and stuff like that. You never talked about a person being able to give you money or you helping someone to grow their money." He said, "So it didn't seem like you. And then come to find out, now I see that you have a different profile. I want to know, is it really you?" So I wrote up a voice message to him. He tells me that he had been following me for the past 2 years and he was following my speaking career and my business. I had no idea. People are always paying attention to you, but people would, especially some people will look and see what you're doing, will not comment, will not say anything, but that does not make you any less successful. And they will never say anything, but they're watching you in silence because you are the roadmap for them to be able to do the exact same thing because you are the person that they're looking to saying, wow, if Regina is doing it, if Ebony is doing it, then I know that I can do it too. And you have to make sure when you think about success, do not think that success means that you are grinding and you waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you just got off work and you got off work at 12 o'clock and you waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's not what grinding is. Grinding is making sure that you take care of yourself, because if you fail to get enough sleep, then guess what? You're going to get sick. If you get sick, now you're going to be forced to sleep and you're going to be down for a few days. If you don't do the things that you know that is going to help you be successful by reading new books, let me give y'all a little secret real quick. Here's how you become successful. Read. Get around people that are not like you. And what I mean that are not like you, if you are broke, get around somebody that's not. If you are a person that curses and you want to stop, get around somebody that doesn't curse. Success looks different to everyone because success to me now it no longer looks like money. Success to me is making sure that I can make it down to Miami every single month so that I can spend a week with my mom since my brother went to sleep. That's success to me because I get an opportunity to see all of them. Go ahead, Regina.
Prince, I'll say this piece right here. The other factor is there may be a bigger picture, this vision that you see, but the vision will not be birthed like you're eating a whole cake or a whole pie, right? The vision will be birthed through the ingredients, through the steps. And you put those steps together and you combine those steps, and then you will see when we look at our elders and you go sit with them, a lot of time that's not done no more. But spending time with the elders who have built the platforms, who have accomplished the business, who have the steady marriages, who have built the houses, and you sit with them and you talk to them and you listen. Sometimes we don't want to listen because we want to compare what they went through with what we went through, or what somebody on TV or YouTube is telling you, or a TikTok is telling you they did. But listen to the truths, right? I'm not talking about listen to somebody that smoke and drink with you. That ain't the elder I'm telling you to listen to. I'm talking about the one that is doing it and living. And if you listen and you watch them, another part is a lot of times we don't want to watch. We don't want to pay attention. We just want we want instant gratification. And so you get instant gratification and you get somebody else's broken system because it looked like it worked because you seen the ending pictures and then you wasted your time, energy, and skill. So listen, watch what's happening. Watch how they work. Watch how they mingle with each other. Watch how he responds to her. She responds to him. Watch how their children, the fruitfulness of their children. Watch. Sometimes we're so busy moving that we don't stop and just sit in the presence and watch life happening right in front of us. Watch Jay getting married. I'll never go nowhere but the church on Easter and come home and eat, right? He getting married. He having a wedding. It's on Easter Sunday. I'm going to go and watch. I'm gonna go and sit in the presence, because love is something that's great, but it's great when you work at it, not when you just believe it's just this falsified image of two people that are just like gazing in each other's eyes and everything just it's work.
So Jay just said it's all about the heart. No, I'm sorry. Let me go back up. He said success isn't what you got. Success is what you are accomplishing.
Come on.
I was just about to say that. Sometimes success is measured in the impact that you've made in other people. It's not about your Benz. It's not about your house. What are you doing to help the life of somebody else? Success is not always measured in something that you can hold or something that you can see. Sometimes you've changed somebody's life and you don't even know it.
Well, you'll see it. Remember the bamboo tree. Remember the bamboo tree sitting there. The success, remember, step by step, right? Day by day, moment by moment. When you continue to do the same thing, you create a rhythm. And as you create that rhythm, you grow something. But if you thinking you're going to see something within the first 21 days, yeah, you may see a little bit. You see that little plant on the head, little green, but it ain't what you want. You wanted the 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. You wanted the 3 acres of land set on it with. So you didn't deposit. You've been saving up, and you had only saved 10,000, but you think you about to own the world with 10,000.
But why are you telling my business?
Be quiet.
Why are you telling my business though? Why are you telling my business though?
I didn't.
No, I don't think
put them back on. I
don't took the earrings off. I don't took the earrings off for you now. But no, one of the things I wanted to say is this right here is when my brother went to sleep in September, prior to my brother and I, we always said by the time we're 40, we'll be millionaires, right? And I don't know what happens with the time, but every year that goes by, I've been 25. So anyway, I'm still 25. And so my brother, he's older than I am. And he had just signed his first 7-figure contract. He owned his own home remodeling and construction company down in Miami. And that made him a millionaire. He was getting ready to buy my mom this Mercedes Benz because he was just like, oh, I want to have it with a big red bow on it for your birthday, which is August 8th, which is her birthday. And he was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Not one person said anything about what my brother accomplished in terms of material possessions when we were doing his homegoing celebration. Everyone was saying how my brother made them feel, how they were seen, how they were seen, how they were heard. Nobody said anything about, oh yeah, I remember he let me borrow that $1,000 and I ain't never paid him back. So everybody was talking and they were just like, wow, I can't believe this is true. I can't believe this is real, because he always checked on me. He always took care of me. He always made sure I had a job. He always made sure I had money in my pocket, because that was the way my brother was.
The currency of relationships. I just want to say that. The currency
yes.
That's the foundation currency we operate under.
I know that we about to close out, but I wanted to throw this in. So y'all know how we do our question of the day, right? Do y'all believe, for the people that are out there, I'm gonna just throw this out there real quick, and y'all could go back to it. Is it okay? Would you be okay with your best friend dating your ex-spouse? Why or why not? And I know we're about to close out, but y'all, I want them to ruminate on that for next week. I ain't coming to stir the pot or nothing.
All right. So again, everybody breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. We thank you for joining this space with us, and we hope that you leave better than you came. Please join us next week. Continue to check in on the chat bot, on the chat page, and make sure you put your input on those questions. And no, each of us are here for you. So hit us up. Make sure you link us on the page too. Like my page, like everybody page, just like a page. All right.
And if there's something you want to talk about or you would like us to discuss, please make sure it goes on the group page in the chat before next Friday, so that we can, because we meet before we come on. We will discuss all the topics, and that's how we narrow it down. So if there's something that you guys want us to discuss or touch on, please let us know.
All right.